Hello and welcome back to the channel. One of the fastest ways to improve your English and get a higher score on the Duolingo English Test is to improve your vocabulary. So today, I'm going to teach you 16 vocabulary words that you can use right away to improve your score on the DET. First, we have however. This is a direct synonym for the word that you probably already know, but. However is more formal, so it will get you more points on the test. You should also note that it requires a slightly different grammar than but. You have to start a new sentence when you use however. So here's a sentence with but. I wanted to go to the gym, but I was too busy. If you wanted to use however in this sentence, you would need to make two sentences. I wanted to go to the gym, period, new sentence. However, I was too busy. This is the only difference between however and but. So any time that you think to use but, just remember to use however instead and start a new sentence. Next, we have on balance. This is personally one of my favorite vocabulary terms in English. This is great for questions in which you need to discuss the advantages and disadvantages, which is a very common thing on the DET. For example, you could be asked for the writing sample, working from home has become popular, but working in an office is still common. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of each. Which do you prefer and why? Provide examples. On balance is useful when you want to state your opinion succinctly. So in response to this prompt, if I wanted to state my opinion succinctly or concisely or shortly, I could say something like this. Although there are advantages and disadvantages to both, on balance, I prefer working from home. The mental image that you can form in your mind to remember on balance is it's like a scale. So you're weighing up the advantages, you're weighing up the disadvantages, and on balance, when the scales are balanced, you prefer working from home. Number 3, nonetheless. This is also a great vocabulary term for questions in which you are asked to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of something. You can use it to transition from one side of the argument to the other side of the argument. So I'll show you what I mean exactly with an example. For example, if I respond to the prompt we saw before about working from home versus working in an office, I could have a paragraph like this. There are many advantages to working from home. First, it is more convenient. I do not have to commute to the office, so I save time. Second, it is cheaper. I do not have to go to a restaurant for lunch. Third, my home is more comfortable than the office. So in this paragraph, I was talking about the advantages of working from home. But you are asked in the prompt to also talk about the disadvantages. So I can transition to this new paragraph with the word nonetheless. Nonetheless, there are disadvantages to working from home. The main disadvantage is that I don't get to spend time with my colleagues. In addition, I do not get to see as much of my city because I'm at home all day. So you can see in the first paragraph, I talk about the advantages of working from home. In the second paragraph, I talk about the disadvantages of working from home. And to transition from the first paragraph to the second paragraph, I can use the term nonetheless. Number 4, as a result. This is a synonym for the simpler word so. It also requires a different grammar. You have to start a new sentence. So in this way, as a result, is very similar to the relationship between but and however. As a result is a more formal and therefore higher scoring version of the word, a synonym for the simpler word so, but you need to remember to start a new sentence when you use as a result, just like you have to remember to start a new sentence with however. Here's an example. It was raining, so we did not go to the park. It was raining, period. New sentence. As a result, we did not go to the park. So as a result expresses exactly the same idea as so. It is a direct synonym, but again, remember the different grammar. You need to start a new sentence when you use as a result. Number 5, in contrast. This is an elegant way to show difference. It's a synonym for but or however, which we've already looked at, but it's not a direct synonym. So its meaning and how to use it will become clear when I show you some examples. I like chocolate ice cream. In contrast, my girlfriend likes vanilla. So this is a difference between me and my girlfriend. I like chocolate, but she likes vanilla. And you can express that difference. You can draw the reader's attention to that difference by using in contrast. Here's another example. Paris is expensive. In contrast, Montreal is more affordable. Paris is expensive. Montreal is not expensive. It's more affordable. That's a difference, and I can show that difference by using in contrast. 6, although. You can use although instead of but or however. However, it requires a very different grammar. And in fact, this is why it's so good to learn, because it changes your sentence structure entirely, which will get you more points for the grammatical complexity scoring criterion used on the Duolingo English Test. And that means because you have more varied sentences, more complex grammar, you will get higher points. So here is the difference between although and but or however. I like the mountains, but my family likes the beach. If I wanted to use although, I would need to change the order of the ideas. Although my family likes the beach, I like the mountains. In short, but and however, they come in the middle. Although comes at the beginning. But although is similar to but and however because it shows difference. But remember, although comes at the beginning of a sentence. You can put it in the middle of a sentence, to be fair, but that's quite advanced. So for now, I think just remember to put although at the beginning of a sentence and use it in this way. That way you can use it confidently and it can gain you points on the test instead of losing you points on the test. I want to take a moment to let you know about Arno. If you are getting ready for the DET, then Arno is the best platform. We give you unlimited practice questions for every question type that you will see on the test. And for writing and speaking questions, we will give you an instant estimated score and detailed feedback on your grammar and vocabulary. We also have an entire vocabulary builder that has over 1,000 words that are organized by topics that Duolingo likes to use on the Duolingo English Test. So if you can learn the vocabulary in our vocabulary builder, you will be so much better prepared for all the writing and speaking questions that you would see on the Duolingo English Test. So to get started, just click the link down in the description or head over to goarno.io, create your free account, do a bunch of practice, and then you can upgrade to the paid plans to take advantage of the more advanced features. Okay, let's get back to these vocabulary terms that we were studying. Number 7, in my view. This is a direct synonym for I believe or in my opinion. but it's a little more formal, so it will get you more points on the test. In my view, family is the most important thing. I could have said, in my opinion, family is the most important thing, or I believe that family is the most important thing, or I can say, in my view, family is the most important thing. Here's another example. In my view, young people should focus on their education. Number 8, in retrospect. This is useful when describing the past. On the DET, you are often asked to talk about your past experiences and what you learned from them. And that's where this vocabulary term is very useful. Retrospect literally means looking back. Retro means back and spect means to look. So you can use it to say that something is clear now in the present that was not clear in the past. Here are some examples. My experience of living in China was difficult. However, in retrospect, I can appreciate all the lessons it taught me. So again, when I was going through the experience of living in China, it was difficult, but after the experience in the present, I can look back and see that it taught me so much. Here's another example. I did not pass the exam. In retrospect, I should have studied more. I took the exam, I did not pass, so looking back, it's clear now, I really should have studied more. So that's in retrospect, a very nice, useful, elegant English vocabulary term. Number 9, profound. This is a nice synonym for important and significant. It emphasizes that something goes deep. So important and significant, they refer more to the size, especially significant, that something is large. Profound is a little different because it emphasizes that something goes very deep. Okay. For example, my trip through Vietnam had a profound impact on me. So I could say my trip through Vietnam had a significant impact or a big impact or a large impact, and that would be fine. It would make sense. However, profound impact really makes clear that it changed me at a deep level. Here's another example. The new apartment buildings have profoundly changed the neighborhood. Same idea. New apartment buildings were put into a neighborhood and they've profoundly changed the neighborhood. They've changed the character of the neighborhood, the feeling of the neighborhood, the people who live there, the culture of the neighborhood. It's had a deep change has been caused by these apartment buildings. Number 10, in sum. This is a direct synonym for in conclusion, but it's a little more elegant, so it will get you more points on the test. It's great for your concluding sentence or paragraph, which for your writing and speaking questions are not required, but if you have the time are always nice to include. Here's an example. In sum, I believe it is important for children to be taught about mental health in schools. So this would be your final sentence in a question about whether you think mental health should be taught in schools. I could have said, in conclusion, I believe it is important for children to be taught about mental health in schools. Again, in conclusion, in sum, these are direct synonyms for one another. Number 11, depicts. This is a direct synonym for the more common word shows, but it is more elegant, so like we've seen with so many words, it will get you more points. This image shows means exactly the same thing as this image depicts. For example, This image depicts a family having dinner. Number 12, judging by. This is another one of my favorite English vocabulary terms, especially for the DET. It's very useful. You can use it on picture descriptions. And it's a way to indicate why you are making a certain observation or conclusion about an image. In other words, it is a way to indicate your evidence, why you believe what you believe. It'll become clear with some examples. This image, I could say, judging by the orange and red colors in the sky, I think that this picture was taken during sunset. Here's another example. Judging by her smile, she seems to enjoy the scent of the flower. What judging by is expressing here very concisely, very neatly, is that she is smiling, which tells me, which indicates to me that she is enjoying the scent of the flower. Number 14, background. This means stuff behind the main things in a photo. For example, in the background, there are many tall buildings. So the stuff behind, far away, are tall buildings. That's the background. Number 15 is the sibling of background. It is the opposite of the background. Background is far away. The foreground is close to the camera. If you use background, it's a good idea to also use foreground, and vice versa. If you use foreground, you should also try to use background. They go well together. So in the image we just saw, I already said in the background there are many tall buildings. I can then say in the foreground there are people walking. So these two words fit nicely together. They're both advanced words, so using them both will help you to get a higher score. Okay, word number 16, make out. This is a synonym for I see. But I can make out implies that something is difficult to see. Here's an example. In this image, I could say, I can make out many cars on the road. So you can look at this image, and if you look carefully, if you work, you can see that there are cars on the road, many cars. So I could have said, I see many cars on the road, and that would be correct, that would be fine, but it would be more accurate and higher scoring to say, I can make out, implying that yes, you can see the cars, but it is difficult to see the cars. This expression, make out, I can make out, is very useful on the DET because they give you very small images that are often blurry. They're not high resolution. So you have to work hard to see what is in the image. So I can make out, you can definitely use on the DET. Here's another example. In this image, you have to work to see what's going on. It's a little blurry. There are things close to the camera that are blocking the things behind. But if you work a little bit, then you will be able to make out 3 gray chairs. So you could say, I can make out 3 gray chairs. That's all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to like and subscribe. That way other students like you can find this helpful content and you can learn about our new videos. Also be sure to check out the other videos we already have on our channel. There's a ton there that will help you get ready for the DET. Okay, happy studying, and I will see you next time.